Welcome back to another episode of People and Purpose by GMG Podcast. With me today is the Vice President of GMG Home, Robert Canning. Good morning, Robert.
Morning,
How are you
Rosanna.
today?
I'm great. Thank you so much.
So today we're talking about the growing industry of the furniture market. And I believe the market has seen a big shift across the years. I mean, I've been here for way too many years, happily. But I think that industry has seen quite a bit of a change. Before we get into that, can you tell me, please, what is your role exactly at GMG and what is GMG Home all about?
Sure. Well, I'm Vice President of GMG Home, like you mentioned. So that is basically taking care of all of the home brands within the group. So at the moment, we have Suncoast Outdoor Furniture. We have Monoprix Maison for homewares and a little bit of indoor furniture. And hopefully we will expand in the near future into much more indoor furniture brands and other brands to complement those.
Suncoast is a homegrown brand of GMG, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how the idea was born, how it became our own brand, the evolution of the brand?
No, so Suncoast was actually opened back in 2003. I joined in 2016. And up until that point, Suncoast had primarily been a B2B brand serving hotels and restaurants and things in the market. But obviously the country has grown a lot over the years, and there's a lot more a lot more people here now, and the population has of course grown. So there was much bigger opportunity to expand the brand. So after joining, we decided we would start to develop the retail side of the brand and start to really look at it as a a brand, and how do we develop that with the brand identity and products, etc. So we started to develop it as an outdoor lifestyle brand. So now we have furniture, we have accessories, we have rugs and lighting and speakers and all sorts of things for the outdoor lifestyle. We have also developed from being a shop which had several brands from around the world in it to actually being our own brand now. So we actually produce our own furniture, we produce our own designs, we have our own branded accessories. So it's really, really developed. And I think because the market has also developed a lot, and the population has changed so much, that there's a much bigger opportunity now for us to do that.
See, no, you're touching on a very important point. When I came here in 2007, I felt like I was restricted with the furniture market. Coming back from home, where furnishing a house is a thing and you really spend a lot to just make your home look like home, I came here and I felt that there was a big gap between just an IKEA type of a product and some very niche product. That in-between segment was kind of missing. And I'm starting to see a big shift, and the competition is pretty strong. Like, I remember a few years ago when I tried to sell my used furniture, I got people buying it like that. Now I can't sell anything for any price because apparently there's something new for that price also. Can you tell us about why you believe that the consumer mindset has changed and why the market has evolved the way it has?
Sure, of course. I mean, I actually started in Dubai in furniture when I was 18. So
Oh my God.
I also grew up here. I've been here since 1986. So for me, I've seen the whole development of the country and the market, and I've been in furniture pretty much that whole time. And then it's completely changed. And you're absolutely right, because that was the gap that we actually identified, and I wanted to take advantage of, because there's always been that budget side of the market. You see people like IKEA, of course. We're actually one of the only cities in the world with two IKEAs within the same city. So for the budget end of the market, there was a massive offering, and then again for the super luxurious designer brands, which we know from Italy and around the world, that was also there. But there was very few, and in the indoor furniture industry, you've seen people over the years take advantage of that. People like the One Marina Home, they've taken very strong advantage of that gap because they're all homegrown brands, of course, and they've obviously grown like crazy over the years. So we identified that also for the outdoor furniture industry. Again, there was super high-end designer brands, and there was also the budget side of the market with your supermarkets and your hardware stores. So that was exactly what we tried to do. And the reason why we actually developed into doing Suncoast as a brand was exactly that reason. Because when you buy from brands, of course, they have an office, they have their own manufacturing, they have a company to fund and to make profitable, as well as us also trying to sell and be a profitable business. So by cutting all of that out, what we do today is we go directly from the factory to Dubai. So we actually cut out any type of brand, we cut out any other type of cost, and we purchase and we manufacture our own designs and our own product straight to Dubai. So you can imagine how much of a cost that cuts out of the supply chain. And by doing that, we're able to offer products which are at the high end. Actually, our factory produces for some of the top high-end Italian brands in the world. And we use that same factory, same quality, same materials, and we bring it here under the Suncoast brand name, and we sell it at a much, much more competitive price. So even 50, 60% cheaper than some of the high-end Italian brands, but it's exactly the same quality, same materials as they're using. So this
You admit to the power of the brand then?
Yes, absolutely, of course.
Are you building Suncoast to be that?
Yes, and that's exactly what we've really tried to do because Suncoast now developed from just being a shop, like I said, with brands in, and people now actually really know the brand. They understand the quality we're offering, and they can see the competitive price of what we're offering, and that's why we've managed to expand as we have and open so many stores over the last few years.
Where are you at now in terms of number of stores, and what's the projection for the next few years?
So at the moment we have 3 open stores. We have the Abu Dhabi store in Reem Mall, Al Basha and Dubai Hills Mall. We're into the process at the moment of opening Nakheel Mall. That will be hopefully open by February, March.
Nakheel Mall, Palm. Nice.
And then we are looking at some other locations for Suncoast. But the most important thing is, like we said, GMG Home. So we really want to look at building the division as a division rather than just Suncoast and Monoprix Maison. So at the moment we're really looking to bring again, I want to do homegrown. So we're looking at bringing some homegrown, doing our own indoor furniture and starting a homegrown indoor furniture brand, as well as talking to a couple of other brands from Spain and different other countries that we could bring here and obviously start working with in the market, because I believe there's a huge opportunity here now.
And I know you guys started in terms of outdoor furniture. I feel generally from the communities around me that that's where people usually spend the least. Like they'll go spend for fancy stuff inside, and then when it comes to outside, in the mind, it's anyways going to be destroyed by the wind or by the dust and what have you. What made the consumer's mindset shift to more valuable product? Because it's also just as expensive as in the indoor furniture as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, the whole dynamic of the whole population of UAE, I think, has changed, and that's what's led to this. Because if you look now, Dubai started to build a lot of apartment buildings and apartments for people, and I think initially there was a lot of single people coming to Dubai, living for a few years and kind of going back to their home country, whereas that dynamic has completely changed now, where you see a lot more families and people are coming here basically for their whole lives, and people will come and stay and live here for a much longer period of time. So now people are willing to spend a little bit more on their homes, willing to spend a little bit more on their outdoor furniture as well. So the whole dynamic of people living and everything has changed in UAE. If you look at how many villa communities are being built now across Dubai,
yes.
it's insane. So,
It's insane.
that just shows you how the population has shifted. And now there's a much bigger desire for villas, whereas previously, I think it was much more about apartments.
Yes.
So that change has changed people's mindset. And I think now outdoor has almost become as important as indoor. And there was outdoor really was behind indoor in a long way for a very long time. But today, all of the designs we're doing, everything that we're trying to bring to the market really resembles indoor. If you look at some of our newest designs, they're almost like an indoor sofa. In fact, you can put them in the indoor. You could use them in your living room. And it's great for kids because the fabric...
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, the fabric is much more hard-wearing. It's stain-proof and all these sort of things. So if you have kids, it's actually much better for indoors than an indoor sofa. So, yeah, but like I said, so people are valuing it much more. People are willing to spend a lot more on their outdoor areas. And I think especially in Dubai, where we have amazing weather for most of the year. Obviously, summer is a little bit tricky. But for most of the year, I think, people are willing to spend much more. And people are willing to spend much more time outdoors.
I agree. So what do you think differentiates us? I mean, you just mentioned that the market is becoming very competitive. I'm seeing all sorts of furniture brands, whether they're international or local, coming up. It's like you're spoiled for choice nowadays. What do you believe the GMG Home division has to offer, whether it's a service or a product that differentiates us in the market?
I would say the most important thing is, and you mentioned it earlier, is the fact that we're a homegrown brand. And we talked a little bit about this, but I think this is super important when we especially talk about the outdoor furniture side, because we are a Dubai company. We know the Dubai climate. We know the Dubai challenges when it comes to environment, and you said about dust and things like that. we are producing furniture specifically for Dubai. So we are producing items for the Dubai market. We are a UAE Emirati company, and we are based here. So this is one thing that makes us super unique. Everybody else is either international brand or a foreign-owned company, which are based here in Dubai. So we are really manufacturing, designing, manufacturing furniture specifically for this climate and the challenges that brings. And then when we look at the indoor furniture and things, we are choosing items for this market because, the UAE is a massively diverse population. We have so many different nationalities, and the tastes here are different. So even different nationalities who live here probably have different tastes than they would at home. So we need to really, by being an Emirati company and buying specifically for here, we can adapt and change for this market, for the people here, which I think is another reason why Suncoast has been successful, because we are actually, like I said, now we're producing our own furniture. We're producing it from the needs and tastes that we've seen over the years. And we can adapt that because UAE also changes quite quickly, right? And it rapidly changes. Correct. So we can also adapt and change with that. And I think that's something that makes us super unique. And again, like I said, we're really buying directly from factories. We're not just going out into the market looking for brands and bringing their product here. We are actually going out and designing furniture specifically for the UAE and manufacturing it and bringing it here. So we're going to be a lot more adaptable than others.
And right now the plans are to stay in the UAE, right?
At the moment we are, but we're already distributing a little bit to Saudi Arabia, and the plan is to take the brand internationally. I would love to take it internationally. We're not there yet, but with grand plans as
well,
always.
GMG is paving the way for you with all its growth across the world.
Yeah, of course. But I would love to. Yeah, exactly. And that's the next step, really, is to take the brand internationally and start taking our designs. We're going to be working with some international designers to start producing designs of furniture and things. So we can take the product to the international market. Hopefully start exhibiting in some of the international fairs and getting customers from around the world. That would be fantastic. And that's definitely my vision for Suncoast as a brand.
So by the next time we have a podcast, you'll have a clearer idea, yeah?
Yes, so I hope. Hopefully. We're not there yet, but that's definitely on the path.
Fantastic. Now, the biggest subject around the world, sustainability.
Sure.
And I know that sustainability comes in many different, let's say, directions. It could be whether it's the environment, whether it's actual business longevity, whether it's a product you're using. GMG obviously has its own framework.
Sure.
I'm actually slightly going below the GMG framework in terms of how has that translated, if at all, into the fact that we're able to create our own product from scratch.
Yeah.
Have you adopted anything on the sustainability from a sustainability point of view?
Definitely. It's and in retail and in manufacturing of any products, this is obviously a key topic now around the world, and it's something that's very important. I also believe very strongly in it, and being outdoor is even better because we can, most outdoor furniture is produced from aluminium, which is recyclable. We use every piece of teak we use is FSC teak, so that's also environmentally friendly. Even our fabric now is manufactured using plastic bottles. The techniques nowadays is amazing. I mean, the fabrics, you wouldn't even believe that it came from plastic bottles. It's soft, it's pliable, it feels luxurious, but it's actually manufactured from plastic bottles. Our rugs, we've just started collaboration with a brand in the UK called Hug Rug. Their rugs are also 100% made from plastic bottles. And everything we do now, we're really looking for that eco message in any product that we produce, any product that we manufacture. We're really looking to do that. We can't do it with everything, of course, but as much as possible we are. If you look at some of our sofas, which are in our Suncoast fabric, the fabric is made from plastic bottles. The aluminium frame is recyclable. The teak wood is FSC. So almost the entire product is eco-friendly. And we're going to try and develop that as much as we can. And we're using natural materials as much as we can as well.
And do you believe that the consumer that shops within GMG Home is taking this as an advantage, or is it a matter of a GMG agenda? Like, how is the consumer taking to it? Because I know it's the subject of sustainability. You hear the upcoming generation caring more. I'm not sure how the millennials per se have taken to it. Do you believe, and obviously culture makes a big difference. So whether you're talking about locals or expats or expat Arabs specifically versus Westerners, do you believe that the fact that you're going sustainable has added value also to the consumer's mindset when shopping at our brands?
I think everybody, it's becoming more and more important. Obviously, some people take it more seriously, some people not so bothered about it. And again, you're right, that's a very cultural thing as well, I think, these days. But we all like to feel good about what we're buying. And I think, if you can buy something and it has that eco-friendly message, it's something that makes you feel
you can't feel
good, right? Yeah, you can't feel bad about it. Whereas if you're buying something that's not necessarily correct, you maybe feel a little bit bad about it. And it's probably not something that's consciously in someone's mind when they go shopping for furniture. But when they hear the stories, they understand it's definitely something that would, we're all the same. It was definitely something that would make you feel more comfortable and more confident about buying that piece of furniture.
But if some people are confusing sustainable with more expensive, do you believe it might even play in the consumer's mind that the fact that it's sustainable means it's a reason why it's more expensive than others?
Yeah, but we don't do that. That is definitely something that people have taken advantage of in the past, and I don't think there's any need these days to charge a premium for sustainable. I'm sure, I can only talk for furniture. I'm sure in some industries maybe that is a different matter, but definitely within furniture, okay, yes, FSCT costs us a little bit more, but the other materials now, with the new manufacturing techniques, especially in fabric, for example, we're able to get very competitive prices, even for sustainable, even for, eco-friendly products. So I think it's important that as a corporation, I think as a business, I think it's very important that we don't charge a premium when we don't need to for it. I think it's incredibly important.
That's such good news, honestly, because I think the sustainability agenda is slightly misunderstood.
I agree.
And a lot of awareness is needed on that subject. To have started building it within the ecosystem, I think is great news for the future. It makes it a lot easier to adapt into or adopt it in the future. Right. E-commerce. Some people now can't live without e-commerce. Like, I take myself as an example. I just can't imagine going to the mall anymore. But there are certain product lines that people do not seem to have adopted buying online. I don't know if it's the size, the feel, the fit. I don't know. In the furniture industry, do you believe that the subject of e-commerce has been of an added value or indifferent? Or, just give us a little bit of an insight.
I think it's always an added value. I think with furniture, and we'll all know this.
Especially that you anyways can't take it home with you when you buy in person, right?
Yeah, you can't. But you also want to sit, right? You want, furniture is incredibly important for all of us because, it's in the home. And I think you want to touch and feel and sit on it. One of the things that we have as a incredibly important rule, and my team will tell you this, is that we have the sit test. So every piece of furniture that we manufacture, we buy, we have to sit on it before we go ahead with it. Because and furniture companies, I believe, in my humble opinion,
don't sit on them.
Forget this sometimes. No, they forget it sometimes, and they, some of the pieces of furniture you sit on is quite expensive, but it's so uncomfortable. And I find that it's totally ridiculous. You will have all been to restaurants and you sit in the chair and it's uncomfortable, which is craziness because you don't want the customer to stay longer and eat more and drink more. So furniture is incredibly important from a comfort point of view. So people will buy online, but I think with furniture it is a huge challenge because people want to experience it, touch it, feel it, sit in it. However, it is an important part of the journey because with furniture we see that customers normally visit the store 4, 5, 6 times before they make a buying decision. It's not something that you're walking around the mall, you pop into a shop and you purchase. It is something that you'll find either the husband or wife comes in, they see something, then they'll come in together, then they'll discuss it at home, maybe they'll check another couple of showrooms, and then they'll make that decision. So I think e-commerce is incredibly important for a couple of things. One is, when you're making that buying decision, maybe you're sitting at home in the evening, you want to have another look at the furniture, look at the prices and all that sort of thing. That's very important for online. When you talk about customization and different fabrics, modular furniture, for example, which is what we're exploring at the moment of how to do that better on our website, These things are great online because you can actually do it, visualize it. You can even go to the stage of putting it into a room, seeing what it looks like, or even an outdoor area, seeing what it looks like and visualize it. Because one of the hardest things that people find is to choose, items that match. So you're trying to put together an outdoor area. So it isn't easy to
Even
put
sizing.
things together. It's sizing as well. So tools to enable customers to help them on the journey of that purchasing decision are incredibly important. In the Kiel store, actually, when we opened that, we have a system now we're trying to develop to help customers do that. So we'll have like an interactive system to show the customers the products in different fabrics, even if it's not in the showroom. So these are things where that journey, that e-commerce and online can help that journey. But I think it's always going to be a bit of a challenge to buy furniture online, just because of that. Maybe, and this is something also that we're talking about, is how do we facilitate that final part of the journey so the customer doesn't actually have to come back to the shop to do the purchase and finalize the sale. So
Yeah, I was thinking that might be the last one.
This is also something we're really looking at, how to join the showroom journey with the online, which is a bigger challenge for us because maybe they've selected, so we kind of have to have the items that the customer's chosen saved online so they can go home and then see it. It's a lot more challenging, but I think we're looking into it now, and we're going to really try and develop that over the coming years.
As you were talking, you kind of opened an opportunity in my head because, like you said, when you buy furniture, I mean, you can't, it's not like clothes, you can only buy one, right? And I think that's the reason why people shop around quite a bit. But I think people can find it easy to go back home after they've seen everything and just say, okay, right, that one was the best one, and not have to go back to buy it.
Yeah.
So I think the decision comes after they physically probably have been to the store.
Correct.
But it's almost like after they've made up their mind that they can just buy it online. I didn't actually think about it like that.
No, it's very important. I think it's going to become more and more important, especially with the development of virtual reality and AI and all these things. People are expecting much more, right? So from a digital perspective, people are expecting a lot more from businesses. So they're going to expect to go home and look at it. I think, especially with furniture, like you mentioned earlier, dimensions, right? Even to go online and just check, what was the length of that sofa? Or, these sort of things. I think it's incredibly important. And we will see it definitely improve and develop over the coming years. There's no doubt.
So if I was to ask you about the future of the business outside of expansion, just seeing how the trends have evolved, seeing how the market has evolved, seeing how the consumer mindset has evolved, do you foresee the change in direction, if at all, within the business itself, within the GMG Home business itself? Or are you satisfied seeing that the next 3 years would be the next step of what you've already started?
I'm never satisfied. I always want to go further. So
Born to win?
yeah, I'm never satisfied. But I think, with furniture, it's almost like fashion. So, and I mean that from colors, style, design. We have to keep ahead of that all the time. And that is the big challenge that we have, to be honest, especially now that we've taken on because people underestimate how difficult it is actually to start producing your own furniture as opposed to buying from a brand. Because if you buy from a brand, although there are extra costs, they're also doing all the R&D, they're doing all the color research, they're doing all of this, whereas we're now doing that ourselves. So this is a huge task and a huge challenge for us. But I go around, I visit all the international fairs, we look at the trends, we look at what's happening, we keep an eye on what the colors that are coming up through fashion, and that actually gets developed into furniture as well. So there is a close tie there, and we need to keep an eye on those things, and we need to keep ahead of that. And I think that's really the biggest challenge that we have.
Amazing news. Do you believe there's anything else that you can add value in our session today and tell our people about that I may have missed in any of my questions? I mean, there were quite a few questions there, but you never know.
I think just, it's an exciting division of GMG, and I think, people should we'll see a lot of exciting things, a lot of development coming over the next few years. And I think, hopefully we can take Suncoast as an international brand and get an indoor homegrown furniture brand also started. And I think that's fantastic, and the strength of obviously Sunnyside Sports, like, being a homegrown brand as well. I think we want to obviously, shadow that and make GMG Home, as a bigger division as some of the other big guys in the group. That's.
I hope so. Trust me, and I'm sure you guys are on the right track to do so as well. And I look forward to our next conversation where you would take us through the evolution from now till then.
Definitely.
Well, thank you very much, Rob, for being with us today. And thank you for listening. Stay tuned to our next episode of People and Purpose by GMG Podcast.